Valentina's strategy was effective, but it kind of sucked the life out of the room. How disappointing was that to see that fight and sort of just, you could hear a pin drop as they were fighting?
You could put on $20 million worth of production, but you can't control the fights. They're going to be what they are. So I cannot let that drive me crazy.
Oh.
Dana White dropped an absolute bombshell that has the entire combat sports world in complete chaos right now. The UFC president has allegedly sent a direct message to PFL's undefeated knockout machine, Dakota Ditcheva, about a potential super fight with flyweight queen Valentina Shevchenko. Yeah, I think the fun fight right now is her and Andrade. I think that's going to be a ridiculous war. I like that fight.
Which proves she's human. What's next for her?
Yeah, I think the fun fight right now is her and Andrade. I think that's going to be a ridiculous war. I like that fight.
And Dakota's response? It's absolutely fearless and will shock you to your core. We're talking about Dana's shocking message, Dakota's bold reply on Twitter, what the experts are predicting, and why this could become the biggest women's fight in combat sports history.
Favorite athlete?
I mean, I'm going to stick with fighting. I'm going to say Valentina Shevchenko.
But first, let me tell you exactly what went down. So here's what happened. According to sources close to the situation, Dana White has reportedly reached out with a message that sent shockwaves through the entire MMA community. He wants Dakota Ditcheva for Valentina Shevchenko.
Something more.
Women want to be equal. And believe me when I tell you, women have proved here that they are equal. They have absolutely proven themselves. And people love the women's fight.
And get this, Dana allegedly told Dakota directly, "Stay ready, you're next." That's not a maybe, that's not a we'll see. That's a promise from the most powerful man in MMA. Now, for those who don't know, this is absolutely massive. We're talking about crossing promotional lines here. Dakota Ditcheva is PFL's golden girl, their undefeated 15-0 flyweight world champion who just pocketed a cool $1 million. She's been destroying everyone in her path with brutal knockouts.
Oh.
Valentina Shevchenko? She's the UFC's flyweight queen, widely regarded as one of the greatest female fighters of all time. She's defended her title multiple times and has been at the top for years.
Oh.
This would be PFL versus UFC, new school versus old guard, the knockout artist versus the technician. But here's the real kicker. Now, let's talk about Valentina's current situation. She's scheduled to defend her title against Zhang Weili at UFC 322 at Madison Square Garden on November 15th.
Oh.
So Dana was thinking about Jessica Andrade as the next challenge, a proven veteran, a former champion, definitely a tough fight. But the MMA world, they're looking past all of that now. They want Dakota Ditcheva. Why? Because Dakota has become the hottest name in women's MMA outside the UFC. She's been calling out Shevchenko publicly. Veteran analyst Dan Hardy says she'd beat Valentina right now, and fans are demanding this fight on every social media platform. Dana White doesn't ignore opportunities like this. This is business. This is history. This is massive money. So what did Dakota say when she got this message from Dana White? You'd think she'd play it safe, right? Maybe show some respect, say she needs more time to prepare, acknowledge the challenge wrong. Dakota Ditcheva looked directly into the camera and said, and I quote, "I definitely could, and I would. You put me in a cage and I'll go against anyone."
So I'll put it back on you, Dakota. Who do you think is the #1 flyweight in the women's division right now?
Valentina Shevchenko.
You still put her #1?
100%. Look, she's the first person to finish a rubies on a belt.
Are you kidding me? This woman has ice in her veins. But wait, It gets even better. Dakota took to Twitter and sent a message that has the entire MMA community talking. She didn't back down. She didn't show fear. She doubled down on her confidence and made it clear she's ready for Valentina Shevchenko whenever, wherever.
Jab. Jab. 1, 2. Jab. Double. Jab. 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 Double. Double up.
And here's the crazy part. Someone put a funny video on social media saying, "Give her Francis Ngannou." And Dakota replied that she'd give it a good go even at that. That's not cockiness. That's a killer instinct. That's the mindset of a true champion. But Dakota also showed class and respect. She acknowledged that Valentina is a top fighter, that Shevchenko has been champion for years, and that she herself is only 26 years old, while these UFC champions are in their early 30s.
Who inspires me? It's really hard to pick one person, really, because quite a few people inspire me. But if I was to pick one person, I would probably say Valentina Shevchenko. She's currently a UFC fighter. She started off in Muay Thai, which is the background that I've come from as well. She did amazing in that, and then she's gone on to do amazing things in MMA as well. So that's one thing.
Let's break down why this fight is so compelling. Dakota Ditcheva is 15-0 with 12 knockout TKOs in her career and 1 submission. She usually finishes opponents in the first round. Her power is absolutely unbelievable. She's a Muay Thai kickboxing specialist who stands 5 feet 8 inches tall with incredible range and devastating knockout power. In her last fight against Talia Santos, she scored a TKO in the second round. Valentina Shevchenko? She's 37 years old and has left a legacy that will be remembered forever. She's widely considered the GOAT, the greatest of all time in women's flyweight. She can do everything. She's not just a striker, not just a grappler, not just a wrestler. She's a complete mixed martial artist who can switch up her game plan at any moment. But here's the thing. 11 years separate these two women. Dakota was born in 1998, and she's only 26 years old. She represents the new generation coming for the throne. Valentina is 37, still at the top, but for how much longer? This could be the passing of the torch moment everyone's been waiting for. This fight matters for so many reasons. First, it's a cross-promotional super fight. We rarely see these happen in MMA. When they do, they become legendary moments in combat sports history. Second, it's the ultimate test for both fighters. For Valentina, it's a chance to prove she's still the best and silence any doubters who think she's declining. For Dakota, it's her opportunity to announce herself on the biggest stage and prove she belongs with the elite. Third, it's a stylistic dream. Dakota's aggressive, knockout hunting style versus Valentina's technical, well-rounded approach. Youth versus experience. Power versus precision. Dana White knows this. The fans know this. And now, both fighters know this. The question isn't if this fight should happen. The question is, when?
rangy.
Put away.
Okay, let's
Like, she lost to Holly, complained and didn't give Holly any credit. She lost to Amanda, pouted out of there. And it wouldn't have been so bad if she didn't go on this whole campaign of never being a do-nothing bitch. Or being just like, she was this role model to all these young girls. And then when she lost, she just turned her back on the entire community and shit talked everybody and turned her back. And now she's like, she wants love. It's like, yo, this sport would have loved you. She would have always have gotten a pop. She probably would have had a job in the UFC. Like, there's so much that she could have still been doing had she just accepted those losses and gave credit to Holly and Amanda.
UFC President Dana White and Joe Rogan has just dropped a massive bombshell message directed at none other than former bantamweight queen Ronda Rousey, and it all revolves around the undefeated British sensation Dakota Ditcheva.
She's beautiful. She's gorgeous. She looks like a model. It has nothing to do with men beating each other up. There's nothing to do with brutishness. It has to do with high-level problem solving with dire physical consequences. But the early days were interesting because, like, you know, there was a lot of people disparaging women fighting, including Dana White.
When are we going to see women in the UFC, man?
Never.
Never?
Yeah, some people get disturbed watching women get bloodied up. That's a big one for some folks. It feels different. Obviously, I'm a big fan of women fighting, but when I watch a big cut on a woman, it feels different. It's so hard for people to not get emotional when they get hit. It's a very bad way to react in a fight, to fight with emotions, because you expose yourself. You leave yourself open for counters. You miss your rhythm. You're not as deceptive. You're too obvious in your pattern, and so many times you get hit a lot more. Yeah, it's a big problem with fighters. The smart thing to do is to fight with correct technique and with a correct strategy, meaning you have an understanding of how to execute best. It's not to just wade in and let bombs fly. You have to be very precise in your tactics. You got to be very smart.
After Rousey's controversial comments disrespecting the UFC and legends like Joe Rogan and Ariel Helwani, the MMA world is firing back with a clear warning. Dakota Ditcheva is ready to humble rowdy Ronda if she ever steps back and that cage stick around, because this drama is absolutely explosive.
She's a legend. I mean, I got nothing but love and respect for that lady. What she did was so impressive. She was the first legitimate female superstar. She made the UFC female division possible. If it wasn't for her, Dana was very open about never having female UFC fighters. It took someone that was that dynamic, that was that special, to open his eyes and go, you know what? I think this lady's a star. And to be the type, like, when she said, like, I wasn't an expert, everyone's entitled to their opinion, you know, but you got to understand why she thinks like that. Because she has a champion mentality. You never fought, you ain't shit. You know, it's real simple.
That's why the football guys always do that. You didn't play? You're like, yeah, but I studied the sport.
Doesn't matter, you ain't shit. I get it. It's totally fine. You can't judge her, like, compare her to, like, Zhang Weili. Because, like, Zhang Weili, who was the 115-pound champion, she had a chance to watch all these other people, learn what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong, what's effective, what's not effective. What Ronda had is world-class judo, world-class, bronze medalist in the Olympics. One of the best arm bars, period, in the sport, in the history of the sport. Her fucking arm bar, the technique was flawless. There's a fight with her and Kat Zingano. Kat Zingano launches at her, just fucking... Kat Zingano was an animal. Charges at her, full... Ronda catches her in an armbar in like 13 seconds. I don't remember the exact time. It was nuts, but it was perfect. Perfect technique. You know, you couldn't fuck with that. But then she fought Holly Holm. And when she fought Holly Holm, she was dealing with an elite boxer, an elite kickboxer, and a very physically strong woman who had an awesome game plan and who had a chance to study Ronda. And maybe more importantly, came from a great camp. And that camp, Jackson Winklejohn camp, one of the best camps in the world. John Jones came out of that camp. Donald Cerrone originally came out of that camp. A lot of great fighters came out of there. So they were really good at game planning. So they knew how Ronda likes to clinch. They knew how Ronda likes to set up her takedowns, and they knew, you know, what to avoid. And then on top of that, Holly's just an elite striker. So every time Ronda tried to close the distance, the striking that she was very effective with against guys like Betch Correa, these fighters that were a lower tier, it's not going to be as effective with someone like Holly. And Holly started catching her on the feet and had her rocked, and then landed that famous high kick and put her out.
Well, I think without Dana, its soul is gone, and
Dana is the heart. Dana is such an. I hope you and Dana are cool.
Oh, I love him so much. But yeah, with when Dana's done, I think the dominant MMA organization, that title will be up for grabs. Yeah, because I think Dana is it. Without him, it's just 3 letters.
Let's set the stage here. Ronda Rousey has been making waves recently, and not in a good way. The former UFC champion launched a scathing attack on longtime UFC commentator Joe Rogan, questioning his expertise in combat sports and mocking his Taekwondo background. She claimed Rogan was far from an expert when it comes to high-level fighting.
He wouldn't know. He's not an expert. He's a fan with an audience.
All it takes is a text going, how long for me to train to beat Ronda?
He wouldn't know. He's not an expert. He's a fan with an audience.
It's interesting.
Never fought.
He fought Taekwondo, right?
Never fought. That's not fighting. It's not fighting.
If anything, I think he's the kind of guy that, like, I remember one time there was some fighter that said something shitty about me. Joe's like, oh, no, he's a good guy. Don't worry about it. He says shit about me all the time. And I was like, really? And he's like, oh, yeah. And I was like, okay. Like, the stuff like that, I think he'd probably say, yeah, you're right. I never fought. He's weird. He's a weird kind of level dude in that sense, where I'm the opposite. I'd be like, wait, what? Ronda doesn't like me? But
I'll never send you a mean DM, okay? So you can take that fear out of your mind.
Okay.
We are past that level.
But it didn't stop there. Rousey has also made controversial statements about the UFC itself, claiming that without Dana White, the promotion is just 3 letters with no soul. While she praised White, her comments seemed to diminish the entire organization and everyone else who built it.
Ronda Rousey was doing an interview with Bert Kreischer, and Ronda said about Joe Rogan, she said, he's not an expert, he's a fan with an audience. That's great. That's great. Ronda went heel. Ronda turned heel on Rogan to Kreischer, who is Rogan's friend. Great. We're going to make some entertainment. My takeaway, though, as I sat and I watched that, is that it wasn't a performance. It wasn't a character in front of a camera that decided to go heel. I came away possibly being a mark, but believing that it was a real moment, that somebody had their feelings hurt and was now lashing out. And that's always been a piece to the Ronda story that has interested me, captivated me, bothered me. None of it's real.
UFC analyst Chael Sonnen even called out Rousey's inflated sense of her own stardom, stating she never held merchandise records, PPV records, or live gate records. He claimed the narrative of Ronda the Star is nothing more than a myth. These comments have rubbed a lot of people in the MMA community the wrong way, and now the backlash is coming hard and fast.
Hollywood bullshit. They were putting her in movies and TV shows, and she was on different talk shows.
What is the hype to, like,
so
oh,
much
could she
interviews.
beat Cain Velasquez? Could she? You know, and it's like, she deserves better than to go out the way, you know, her last fight.
Well, she deserves exactly what she got. I think she really cemented her legacy as one of the greatest women's MMA champions ever and a pioneer. But I also think that women's MMA has evolved so fast that within the brief time that she was running shit, the sport passed her by.
Joe Rogan, being the class act he is, responded with grace, but didn't hold back on the truth. On his podcast, Rogan said he never had a bad thing to say about Ronda and still doesn't, but he made it clear that the game simply caught up to her. He referenced her devastating knockout losses to Holly Holm and Amanda Nunes, fights that ended her dominance and exposed her striking vulnerabilities.
She put it in the corner and moved on to something else. But when people did that to her, it was supposed to be some kind of like a grave insult, and it wasn't an insult at all. She doesn't have to go heel on Rogan if she wants to for performance reasons. It's very entertaining. But the part that she got wronged is the idea that everybody hates her. They don't hate her. They never loved her to start with.
Rogan praised Rousey's champion mentality, calling her an animal and saying if she were a man, she'd be Genghis Khan. But he also acknowledged reality. Rousey had her moment, and when elite strikers entered the division, her one-dimensional grappling game wasn't enough anymore.
It's such a misinformed, ill-advised take.
MMA fans and media are the most "what have you done for us lately" crowd of any sport. Like, you look at WWE and they have such a reverence for their legends. And at MMA, it's like the second that you're not on top, you're not shit and you never were shit.
She's not talking about UFC fans or MMA fans. She's talking about the organization, but she can't say it for whatever reason, so she'll blame it on the fans. The fans did nothing to you, Ronda Rousey, other than idolize you, other than adore you, other than treat you like a mega superstar that you deserve to be treated like. She was the face of the UFC, and she lost. And I remember the narrative after the fight. It wasn't she ain't shit, she never was shit. The narrative was, we should have seen this coming. Holly Holm was a Hall of Fame boxer. We probably should have given her a lot more respect. And then the next time we see her, she's getting off a plane, covering her face because she felt embarrassed, because she was such a gamer, such a competitive person that it crushed her. And that's okay. But guess what? UFC fans, whether she wants to believe it or not, and I didn't live it, but I can say this with the utmost certainty, they wanted to love her. She did not allow that. When she returned, she didn't do a single interview. She didn't attend media day. When we were sitting there waiting for the morning weigh-ins, the official weigh-ins, she snuck in, snuck out, and looked at all of us with disgust. She blamed all of us for it. The media, the fans, just because she lost. Some of the greatest MMA fighters of all time have, and most beloved and popular fighters of all time, have double-digit losses on their resumes. Conor lost to Nate Diaz. People liked him more after the loss. The way he stood there and met with the media and took his lumps and came back stronger. She could not be more wrong about this. And she continues to go on this media tour talking shit about the MMA fans and the MMA community, when in reality, her issue is with the way the UFC treats its legends, the way the UFC treats their own, comparing that to the WWE, which is a very valid point, by the way. But you're comparing two different things. The wrong thing is organization to organization, not fan base to fan base. You couldn't be more wrong.
Ariel Helwani and other MMA journalists have also weighed in, with many expressing disappointment in Rousey's recent attitude, the consensus. If you're going to talk big and disrespect the people who helped build your legacy, you better be ready to back it up.
And her opponent fighting out of the red corner. She's a Muay Thai specialist and stands 5 feet 8 inches tall. She weighed in officially at 126 pounds and holds a professional record of 5 victories and no defeats. Fighting out of Manchester, England, Dakota Ditcheva.
Now, here's where things get really interesting. Dakota Ditcheva, the undefeated British Muay Thai specialist and rising MMA star, has emerged as the perfect answer to Rousey's trash talk. At just 26 years old, Ditcheva is tearing through her competition with devastating striking that would give prime Ronda Rousey absolute nightmares.
2 weeks beforehand, I slipped down the stairs, going to the car to get my scale, knocked myself out on the stairs, and tore my knee out, having the wrong mouth guard. It was like one of those things where everything went wrong beforehand. I was like so stressed out. My weight wouldn't come off. I had to like sweat out like 10, 15 pounds beforehand.
Wei Li with that right hand.
After having done it, it was very successful. In every way you measure success, Fight Island was successful. So, the people who were laughing and all the naysayers and the people who thought it couldn't be done.
Dana White drops massive praise on Zhang Weili as Dakota Ditcheva rumors swirl with Dana White calling Zhang Weili one of the greatest of all time and the best female fighter in the sport right now. The question on everyone's mind is inevitable. Could Magnum Zhang Weili be the ultimate test for PFL's undefeated phenom Dakota Dangerous Ditcheva?
wanted that belt more than anything. And, you know, I didn't know if there was going to be a knockout or a submission or something like that, but I knew I was begging people to watch that. You know me, man. When I sell fights, I don't beg anybody to watch anything. I was literally begging people to watch this fight.
Oh, we filming? I'm here with the champ. Ringside with the champ.
While Ditcheva dominates the PFL with her perfect 14-0 record and devastating knockout power, Zhang Weili has conquered the UFC's strawweight division and is now eyeing flyweight gold. If these two ever meet, it would be the super fight that determines the true queen of women's 125-pound MMA. Let's start with the woman everyone's talking about, Zhang Magnum Weili. And when Dana White puts you in the GOAT conversation, you know you're different. Here's her record: 26 wins, 3 losses. But it's not just the numbers. And here's why Zhang is the biggest threat to Dakota. She just vacated her strawweight title to move up to flyweight. She's coming for Valentina Shevchenko's belt, and the pros are terrified of her. At 36 years old, Magnum is in her absolute prime. Her striking differential against Amanda Lemos, 296 strikes to 29. That's not a fight, that's a statement. She outstruck Lemos by the largest margin in UFC women's history. When Dana White says greatest of all time, this is what he's talking about. But now, there's a problem for Zhang Weili, a big problem. Her name is Dakota Dangerous Ditcheva, 25 years old. I am from Manchester, England, and she's never lost. 15-0, perfect, unblemished, untouchable.
And her opponent fighting out of the red corner. She's a Muay Thai specialist and stands 5 feet 8 inches tall. She weighed in officially at 126 pounds and holds a professional record of 5 victories and no defeats. Fighting out of Manchester, England, Dakota Ditcheva.
The goes up and keep spit it out because the pain ain't cheap. Preach. And the body Dakota Ditcheva with a quick serve.
This isn't some hype job. Dakota was born into combat sports. Her mother, Lisa Howarth, multiple-time world kickboxing champion. Her father, Ivo Ditchev, from Bulgaria, martial artist. Dakota was a 3-time Muay Thai world champion before she even turned pro in MMA. She won gold at the 2016 IFMA World Championships at just 17 years old. And here's her calling card: body shots. She doesn't just knock you out, she breaks you. Liver shots, solar plexus, ribs. Dakota attacks the body with surgical precision. 4 of her last fights ended with body punch TKOs. Fighters just fold in half when she lands. And that Taila Santos victory, that's the one that put the world on notice. Santos went to war with Valentina Shevchenko twice. She's tough as nails. Dakota finished her in under 2 rounds and became the first person to ever stop her. That's when everyone realized this girl is different.
Santos is in big trouble. She's in big trouble. Dakota Ditcheva to the body again for the championship.
All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty. Zhang Magnum, Wiley versus Dakota Dangerous Ditcheva. GOAT status versus perfect record. Experience versus youth legend versus future. Dakota, 15 fights. But here's the thing that should terrify Zhang. Dakota's never even been in trouble. She's finishing everyone in rounds 1 or 2. The longest she's ever fought is 3 rounds, and that was a dominant decision over Sumiko Inaba. She's never been tested. Zhang is 36 years old, still elite, still dangerous, but she's been in wars. That body's got mileage. She's moving up to flyweight. That means cutting less weight, but she's not naturally this big. Dakota is 25. She's in her prime. She's taller, longer reach, naturally bigger. This is her weight class. She's been at flyweight her entire career. That size advantage is real. Dakota, 1 submission win, a rear naked choke against Malin Hermansen. But here's what matters. She's never been taken down and held. She's got great takedown defense, and she trains BJJ. She's not helpless on the ground, but this is Zhang's advantage if she can get it there.
Okay, you've got to get busy here. You've got to show me something.
So let's talk strategy. How does each fighter win this super fight? Zhang's been in absolute war with the best in the world. She knows how to survive, adjust, and finish strong. That championship mentality could be the difference. Dakota's game plan is simple, and simple often wins fights. And here's Dakota's secret weapon, power. Zhang's tough, Zhang's elite. But if Dakota lands that body shot flush, it doesn't matter how tough you are. Your body shuts down. Ask Tyla Santos. Ask Chelsea Hackett. Ask Cornelia Holm. They all folded. Plus, Dakota's fresh. She's 25. She hasn't been in wars. Her body's pristine. Zhang. She's been in absolute battles with Joanna, Rose, and everyone else that wear and tear matters when you're moving up in weight at 36. So here we are, the question that started this whole video. Zhang Weili is the biggest threat to Dakota Ditcheva. Dana White calls her the greatest of all time. She would beat everybody on the planet. But can she beat Dakota Ditcheva?
她跟别人不一样的地方。梦想就是一个梦想嘛，现在人家实现。Zhang Weili makes history! Oh my word!
Here's my answer. Yes, Dakota can beat Zhang Weili. And here's why I believe that. Look, Zhang Magnum Wiley is absolutely one of the greatest women's MMA fighters of all time, top 3, no debate. What she's accomplished is legendary, but styles make fights, and this matchup favors Dakota.
My name is Zhang Weili. I'm from China. Remember me!
The weight class Zhang's moving up at 36 years old. Dakota's been at flyweight her whole career. She's the naturally bigger, longer, stronger fighter. The power Dakota has 12 KOs in 15 fights. That's an 80% finish rate. Zhang's tough, but those body shots are different. They shut your body down.
Kicking the brakes off of girls. Behind it, almost landed flush. Hayton's having to weather an early storm here. Tries that kick in, and that's her.
Young talents in all of MMA. This girl's a demon. They say she's the next Ronda Rousey. Check it out.
She's hurt to the body. That's it. Rich Mitchell waves it on. That's a TKO victory.
And that does it! Dakota Ditcheva silences the doubters.